Hi, this is Patty from the Albert Lea Public Library. This is our very first science blast, and today we're going to talk about density. That's a science term they use to describe how much space something takes up compared to the weight. So we're going to try this. We're going to make a lava lamp. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add water to this bottle. Now I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing today. If you do this at home, you can do however you like. And then we're going to add some oil. So you see the water, the only substance in there goes right down to the bottom. So let's try adding some oil. This is just regular vegetable oil. You can see what happens. The oil is less dense, so it rises to the top. Let's try this one. Now remember, we put water in this one first and then oil. Let's try this, but let's add our oil first. So the oil is on the bottom. So does that make you think that possibly the water will stay on the top because we added that second? Let's see. Let's add the water and see what happens to this one. Takes a little time to happen, doesn't it? But do you see what happened? The water went under the oil. We're going to make one more. I'm going to start with water here. And we'll add our oil. A little bit more. We need a little more, don't we? Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some food coloring, and we're just going to color our water and watch carefully what happens to the droplet of food coloring when we put it in. Got 3 little drops. Do you see what they're doing? Are they more dense or less dense than that oil? They went down below, didn't they? So that means that they're more dense. We got 3 green drops here, and we have some blue. Let's put the blue in. Now we're wanting to cause a chemical reaction, so what we're going to add to do that, because that's kind of pretty to look at, but it isn't the exact experiment we want, is that it's not looking like a lava lamp. So we're taking this Alka-Seltzer tablet or antacid. We're going to break it in 2, and we're going to drop it in our bottle. Let's see what happens. It takes a little while because that tablet has to kind of dissolve in the water. But you see what's happening? It's making those bubbles. They might even get colorful. Let's drop one in the, I can't remember if this is blue or green. Maybe we'll see once. Oh, it looks like green, doesn't it? Oh yeah, those are pretty, aren't they? Let's add another one here to our blue. Oh, that's pretty beautiful, isn't it? The green one especially seems to be working well. I don't know why. And after you've watched it and after the reaction is over, if you want, you can add another little piece of tablet down and see what happens if it continues. And it is continuing, isn't it? So, that's a pretty experiment. We're going to try one more. We're going to, I'll hold it up there next time. Put some oil in. And then we're going to add a little bit of water. And remember, which one is going to go on the bottom? Even though we're adding the water second, it's going to go down below, isn't it? Because it's more dense. Then let's add, I kind of like, which color? The green? All right, let's add a little green. Okay, now remember for these 3, we use that antacid tablet. Now we're going to try vitamin C. Just see if it works, okay? I'm going to sprinkle a little vitamin C right in there and see what happens. They said online, try it, but what happened? Well, looks like a big old glob at the bottom, doesn't it? Okay, well, we tried it. Let's see. Let's see if we cover it, if we shake it up, what'll happen. Let's see if that makes a difference in our experiment. Well, it maybe worked a little bit, but I think these are much prettier, aren't they? We'll put that in one more time and see if they still have it going. And then we'll go to our next experiment. We'll let those work while we set up for our second one. Our second experiment has an egg and water and salt. Okay, so, show you like that. Pretty, huh? All right, well, let's do our next experiment. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to pour some water into a glass. I'm going to cover up that corn oil. We don't need that spilled on the floor, do we? Okay, so we're going to fill a glass with water here. Actually, we're going to fill two at the same time. Now we're going to put a nice egg in there. We have these really pretty brown eggs, and what do you think is going to happen when I put this egg in water? Do you think it's going to float, or is it going to go to the bottom? Is it more dense or less dense than the water? Let's see, we'll set it in. Oh, she just sank, didn't she? So, what could we do to make that egg come up? Let's try it. Let's put another egg in. Do you think the same thing will happen? Let's try. Let's put it in. Will this one float? Probably a good idea that it's not floating. If you have an egg that floats, it means it's not a very good egg to eat. Don't eat that egg, okay? Throw that one out. So the next thing we need is just a common ingredient. It's salt, just regular table salt. And what we're going to do is we're going to add salt to this one. Now this is just regular drinking water. We're going to turn this one into a little bit more salty water. So we're adding salt. Might take a little while for this to clear. And we might just have to stir it a little bit with our little wand here, just so it dissolves. And this might be one. I'm going to add a little more salt, and then we'll come back to this one, okay? Because this one takes a little while to start to work. So we'll do one more, and then we'll come back to this one, and the water will clear. And we'll get a better shot of that. Let's see, I think we have plenty of salt. It's going to get really concentrated. All right, we'll come back to this one. Let's see it, it's starting to float. Maybe we need a little more salt. And that's an experimentation in itself. The more salt you add, what happens? There she came. She just wanted more salt, didn't she? She's slowly going up there. All right, the next thing we're going to do is this is another one with density. And we're going to start by adding water. And let's just color that water a little bit. This time we'll use blue, just so pretty blue. And that in itself takes a little while to swirl around, doesn't it, and mix in. We'll help it out just a little bit, okay? And then the next thing we're going to use is just some white corn syrup, just like you put on your pancakes. Or we're going to slowly pour that in. What do you think? is the syrup going to be more dense or less dense than the water? Is it going to stay at the bottom or go to the top? We'll just pour it in slowly and see what happens. Well, it looks to me like it's going to the bottom. Does it look like it's clear on the bottom like the syrup? Yeah. Now we have one more thing. What do we know that's really not very dense? Our oil. We've used that before, haven't we? Let's put the oil on, and that's yellow. And let's see where that goes. So we have the syrup on the bottom. We have the water that we colored blue, and then we have our oil. So this is an experiment you could do at home because you probably have all of those ingredients, and they're pretty safe ingredients. I'm going to do one more column. This is one that probably you don't want to do at home because it has some things in it that are not safe for children, okay? But I'm going to tell you what they are. So the first thing we have is just some honey that we dyed purple. We just used food coloring. Do you know what color would make purple? What two colors you have to use to make purple? If you use our red and blue, you're going to have purple. So we're going to put that on the bottom. And that's our honey. Purple honey, that's hard to see, I bet, is it? And we'll get a white thing behind that when we're ready for it. So the next thing we're going to use is blue dish soap. We're going to carefully pour that in. And the next thing is, this is water. We just made it green so that you can see it a little better. You have to really be close up to see. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is olive oil, and this is yellow. And the last thing we have is something, this is the one that I would not want you to use at home. It's rubbing alcohol dyed orange. And let's just let those settle. That is really hard to see, isn't it? What do you think we could have done so that you would have been able to see that a little better? Yes, I think you're right. If we would have used a container with a smaller diameter length across, it would have been more of a column, and we would have seen our layers a lot better. But maybe next year we'll be able to have Science Blast again at the library, and you can come in and we'll do that one again, okay? But you notice this one, the layers separated really well. Do you see where our egg is? Adding that salt actually did something, didn't it? It made the water more dense so that the egg could float. Here with just the fresh water, the egg sinks to the bottom because it's more dense than the water. And our lava lamp. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed watching today, and these are things you can try at home, okay? All right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.